Good day. In this mission, we're going to talk about what is CAMMP. I'm sure you've been hearing enough about it, so let's start to explore it. CAMMP is the abbreviation for the Customizable and Adaptable methodology for managing projects. So obviously, it's a project management methodological approach that we can use to help us manage project. And here we would be willing to say any type of project in any industry, but it has to be customizable and adaptable, another word for tailoring. And we will be elaborating on how we do this in future quests and missions. So it is a customizable and adaptable methodology for managing projects, regardless of size, type, complexity, or industry. It is a project management methodology that covers a project life from idea to closure and even beyond. It is strategically focused and emphasizes the need for alignment to organizational strategy. It is in line with the overall organizational perspective, not limited to the project manager role or project management function. So as we work with this methodology, our focus and interest is the organization itself, not the role or the function of project management. The standard model, and you have to be careful here, what we say as a standard model, this is a starting point, but remember, it has to be customized and adapted to fit your exact need, depend on the nature, size, and complexity of the type of project you work on. But as a standard model, it's designed based on these essential components that we will be presenting here briefly. First, there is a project life cycle. And the idea of a project life cycle, as we defined it in previous quest, is that the time span that will cover the project from idea to closure, to formally closing the project and the organizational systems and financial books and whatever the case might be. So as a time span that goes end to end. This is why sometimes we use the term end-to-end project life cycle. In project management, we like to subdivide and use concepts like breakdown structure. And what you see in front of you is a form of a work breakdown structure to help us improve our planning, management, and control of a project. So breaking down a project into components or smaller and smaller pieces would definitely help us improve and maximize the chance of success and realizing the benefit of any project. So starting at the highest level, we start with the project life cycle and we subdivide that into three major phases. What we believe in is that regardless of what type of project you work on, from an organizational perspective, then you need to have three phases. And these are called discovery phase, development phase, delivery phase, or if you like to call them the 3Ds, that will be fine. Again, we're not going to go into detail here because we're going to have specific levels for each one of these phases later. If we go down further one more level, then each phase will consist of two or more stages. And as you can see here on the screen, the discovery phase has two stages, has a concept stage and a feasibility stage. The development phase have three stages, and the delivery phase have four stages, two and two in parallel. Now, what you notice here is that there is some kind of symbols with numbers, and these are what we call stage gates. Now, before we talk about stage gate briefly, let's talk about the stages. Each stage, as you can see from the title, have a purpose. It will produce an output, and that output is we call stage deliverable. So every stage have a specific purpose. It's not linked to time. It could be 1 day or it could be 1 year or more, depend on the nature of the project you work on. So the stages are not defined by how long they take or how many people they have working on them. It's by the purpose that they have to produce. So basically the concept stage will produce a concept document, which we call it project brief. You will see this in future quests as well and missions. So basically, each stage have a purpose as we defined, and that purpose is an output of the stage work, which is called a stage deliverable. I'm repeating for emphasis. Now, once we produce that stage deliverable, it has to go through a stage gate, and that's what the numbers you see. So for the concept stage, we will have gate 1. Typically, most of these gates, or purpose of a gate in general, is 2 things. Now, first, maybe we need to talk about who sit at the gates. Well, I cannot tell you because it's highly dependent on organization and culture and systems and processes and procedures and guidelines. But let's say for now, those who sit at the gate are those who have the power to approve or reject or stop the work. So when the project brief is submitted to gate 1, to whoever sit at gate 1, then gate 1 will have 2 purposes. First, to verify that the project brief, the output of the concept stage, was done in according to the company policies and procedures and guidelines. So to verify is done in a quality manner. That's the first purpose of the gate, to verify completion of the prior stage work. Then once we are satisfied with that, now of course there could be some revision and there could be some give and take, but at the end, once we are satisfied, or management or whoever sat at the gate is satisfied with the result of a given stage work, then technically they can move into the second purpose, which is decide if this project still makes sense to go ahead or to stop. So first purpose of the gate is to verify completion of the prior stage work. The second purpose is to decide whether to go or no go into the next phase and to continue with the project. That very quick overview of this without getting into what each stage is and what each phase is. As you can see, you have the project level, then we subdivide into a phase level, then into a stage level, and then there are the gates in sequence, and they are numbered accordingly. Now, I have to step back to the name of the methodology, and as you remember, it is a customizable and adaptable. So once again, this is the standard model. And of course, depend on what area or what type of work you work in, or industry or business, or are you work for profit or non-profit, or maybe even a personal project. We think the number of phases would be fixed. The number of stages and stage gates and deliverable could vary. We could have less, where maybe for small project we can combine some of these things. However, for larger project, maybe a phase or a stage, could be split further. For example, in capital project or engineering type of project, the implementation stage could be broken down into more than one stage. And again, depend on what type of project. We don't want to go into this at this time, but let's just highlight that we think the project phase, or we advocate that the project phases are fixed, the project stages are variable. Now, of course, being customizable and adaptable, you can use whatever name you like. For example, I'm using development phase here for the middle phase. We know in IT, in technology, and software, development phase is maybe what we call, there would be in what we are calling here delivery. So again, depend on the nature of your work. You can name these phases and stages any way you like. Now, a brief history. Again, we don't want to go into too much detail here. You can read more about this information. But briefly, we started to work on CAMMP as SUKAD, the company I lead and manage, and I co-founded years ago. We started working on this, and we had the first version in 2007, which we documented through this book that was written as a story, explaining in a coaching style how to launch and build a community center using CAMP, but coaching style and written as a story. So it's a lot of soft side to this book, and it is still have a very special place in our heart since it is my first book and it's written as a story with a lot of personal touch in it. These books are available if you like to purchase them, of course, through Amazon and maybe through SUKAD as well. Then we continue to work on the methodology and we continue to enhance it and update it. And in about 2013, we finalized version 2, and that was documented through a series of ebooks and this book as well that was published around 2014 timeframe. Maybe we should ask a question, or maybe you're wondering, why did we develop it? Well, simply to fill the gap in project management practice. We touched on this in the previous quest, and we revisit it quickly here. If we look at the project management scene today and the global scene with professional associations such as PMI and IPMA, most of these leading professional associations have not offered the community a methodological approach. They have PMI focus on process, ISO focus on process, IPMA focus on competence, but neither of these organizations produced a methodology or a method or a methodological approach. So we have seen that this is a gap in practice that is actually causing a lot of headaches and pain in failed project, and we felt the need to have something that could be documented. Now, why there is no methodological approaches that we have documented before? There are some, but mostly because methodologies are custom built. They are usually done within an organization to fit their type of work and the type of project. And obviously for proprietary reason, organizations don't often like to share their confidential and internal processes to the world. So we try to do that and coming up with an approach that could be tailored. But instead of having organizations start from scratch, we have quite a bit of content that we can help you start in developing your organizational system and methodology. Where is it today? We are at version 3 of CAMP, which we published in December 2017. Actually, 1 December 2017, this book was out. And notice we use the name Project Management Beyond Waterfall and Agile. And the idea behind that is that to go beyond the debate and the online argument that goes on today about waterfall and agile and which is good and which is bad. And we want to move beyond that. And that's what we're trying to represent via this title and even via the picture. Yes, project management must follow a certain path. However, we need to get some time where we need to break away. Yes, what we offer you here via CAMP is that we have looked at what the global professional associations offer. We have looked at those boxes. We learned from those boxes, but we were willing to step out of the box as well. So if I would like to summarize here quickly, CAMP is going beyond what exists, is going beyond waterfall and agile, going beyond the boxes that are offered to us by professional societies and association without ignoring what those organizations offer us. So ultimately, as we go into advanced topics on CAMP, CAMP build on what PMI, ISO, GPM, CII, IPMA, and I can give you more and more abbreviation. So we've learned from those great organizations that has been existing for a while, and we extracted the juice, if you like, from what these organizations offer, and we try to put them into a well-structured, simplified approach for managing projects. Thank you. And we hope that this quest and future quest will definitely help you to succeed today and always as you travel on the project management journey.